Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 19th. Impact map for today, still a concern. Let's get this back here for high winds. So gusting up to 50 miles per hour, humidity 5 to 10% in this eastern quadrant of Utah. Uh, Tricky forecast because the dash line indicates where fuels are critical. There have been some showers and higher humidity through there, but still, any places where there's open fire and availability of fuel, things could burn and carry quite quickly. Elsewhere, you do notice that we have this blue area. This is much colder air, a 20 plus degree cool down in a lot of areas across northern Utah, much of Nevada and Idaho, along with scattered showers. So minimizing fire danger up in the north and west. As we go to Monday and Tuesday, things quiet down, still lingering cool air. On Monday, we get back to more seasonable conditions on Tuesday. No significant impacts except maybe some isolated lightning late Tuesday could be a sign of things to come for the middle of the week as another monsoonal surge possibly approaches. It's been a busy last 24 hours, lots of lightning up and down the higher terrain of Utah and uh, some scattered precip, some of the storms locally wetter. The deep moisture, though, has been further to the south and east. Quite a lot of activity with that lightning, a lot of new starts here. Nothing really going too big, except for this larger fire here, several thousand acres in northeastern Nevada. That should start experiencing higher humidity today, but a lot of starts here so far small. We'll see what impact the wind has on them later today. Other than the last 24 hours, you can still see that things have been fairly dry across our southern third of the region, quite wet up north. And in terms of percent of normal precipitation, you can see again, it's that southern third of the area that has been bone dry. We can see some of the fuels. We'll start with southeast Utah, and you can see a noticeable drop off of the ERCs, which are approaching the 97th percentile. The higher humidity, scattered showers knocked it down below the 90th percentile. But you go further westwards towards the Dixie National Forest, a part of the Fish Lake, you can still see that their ERCs basically remain unchanged, right up at record levels above the 97th percentile, and still quite dry between record uh, and uh, and normal, right around the 90th percentile or a little above in the higher elevations of the Spring Mountains. The 100-hour fuels have taken a bit of a hit with the moisture and the higher humidity across eastern Utah, but still as dry as it gets across areas of southwest Utah, the Arizona Strip, and southern Nevada. You can see the satellite imagery an unseasonably deep low, more typical of late April than late June, bringing moisture and deep monsoonal moisture, most of it now pushing into Colorado, but still some streams of it here in eastern Utah. But the big story would be the sharp cool down, along with some strong southerly winds still with this trough of low pressure. So as we go into today, there's the weather map. The deep moisture moves to the east, still some showers and cooler temperatures across northern central areas of our geographic area. But here's the concern for the wind across our southern eastern areas once again. And you see with these purple areas, gusts 40 to 45, maybe approaching 50 miles per hour. Humidity starting to dry out in some areas here in the 8 to 12% range, a bit higher as you head right towards the southeastern Colorado border. So kind of a tricky forecast, but elsewhere humidity is coming up quite a bit. And really nothing much on Monday. You can see our 7-day fire potential, the driest areas in the brown. Otherwise, quite a bit of modification here in eastern Utah. Still in a trough of low pressure, so temperature is still about 5 to 8 degrees cooler than normal. Humidity starts bouncing back, though. Dry humidities in the south. Winds not significant in areas that are dry. On Tuesday, still nothing significant going on. The trough has disappeared, so we're back up to seasonable mid-June, late June warmth. But there's that deepening monsoonal moisture. A second surge is possible. Not much of a concern yet on Tuesday, but especially these drier areas further west you go in Utah and towards the Arizona Strip, the bigger the concern. You see the low humidities through there, winds light. 3-day precip totals, again, the deepest part shifts further east. And this is good news for the bad fire season they've had so far in New Mexico and parts of Arizona, especially New Mexico has got a great dosing. That's going to go into Colorado as well. Now, as we go into Wednesday, things get interesting. That monsoonal surge pushes further westwards into much of Utah. And again, from central to western Utah into parts of the Arizona Strip, they didn't get much moisture, so their fuel is still quite dry. We'll have to monitor that for high risk. Right now, we're just monitoring the situation, but the further east you go, the more moisture and higher humidity there will be. You can see the higher humidity in the 20s here, but you can see how dry it is as you get towards Cedar City and just beyond. So we go into Thursday, some monsoonal moisture starts to elevate convective activity across the Sierra front. Fuel zero being marginal, and we see more of a surge of monsoonal moisture here on Friday, continuing and expanding up in northern Nevada, and starting to taper off on Saturday as hotter, drier, high pressure starts building in. The 7-day precip totals shown here, and the 8 to 14 day on the right hand side continues to show a very good chance of monsoonal moisture pushing into the last week of June and into early July. So that is that. And this concludes our briefing. Have a great day and a great June 19th.